Good evening and welcome to my presentation. My name is Gerald Isaiah Parks, and my presentation will be on why tough love parenting is needs to be in full effect today. Uh, because today personally I've seen too much of kids, like being disrespectful to their elders and to their parents as well. You see it all the time on the internet, and then social media tells us most of the time that we shouldn't listen to a higher authority above us, and even though it's thundering outside, but I feel that there's a need for parenting to be stronger than it ever was, especially at this time. So here are my slides, and here are my takes on why it needs to be and why it should be in full effect. One, the history of tough love parenting is that most families in the ancient days, the the tribes, and even in modern time, oh, not modern, but I would say from probably about the 1800s to maybe late 90s, mid 2000, that it was really just to construct order around the house. And that means the child would get spanked if they acted very poorly and below the expectation. And if they did back talk like really bad, so to the point where like if they cussed and they weren't supposed to, if they said something they weren't supposed to, they would end up getting a little pop on their jaw like a smack. But it wouldn't be out of anger, it'd be out of love. And that's the tough love. I'm talking about the tough part, because it is out of love, but yet it is not. It is loving, but it's tough. So it's going to make you tougher. And hopefully, by the time you guys, by the time we go through all these slides, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Also, people do consider rebuttals about tough love and the spanking part about it, like, because people think it's too violent, harsh, and then really what tough love is just to teach you about character. It builds character, making you do chores outside the way I've been raised. The way it teaches you respect and love your elders, especially when they're doing work outside with you. Now, disciplinary actions you have not been used in this day like they should be, because you see a bunch of kids, they cussing out their parents, they cussing out their grandparents. I recently seen this video where this kid was gonna fight his dad just for no reason, just because his dad told him to get in the shower because he stunk. And the kid was just cussing him out, saying he was gonna beat him up and everything. And I was like, okay, this kid. That's where the expression comes from when you see bad kids acting. Like this kid needs his butt popped. All right, on from the history. Tough love comes with a style of parenting called firm parenting, but a more, how do I say, appropriate term would be called authoritative parenting. And the way my parents have always raised me was with authority. And what is authoritative parenting? Well, on my slide here, authoritative parenting, parents lay down the law, what you call lay down the law in the house. By the time you're older, probably about 5 years old or so, as soon as you start getting old enough to read and get in school. Now, the parents set down the rule of high expectation for children, while also why they respond to your emotional needs. It's not just a harsh parenting where they don't care about nothing. They care about you and they listen to what you got to say. But if you disrespect them, then no, you're not going to earn their respect. The child has to earn the respect in the house, even though the child is already respected in the house, but you have to earn the moral respect, in my eyes. It allowed the children to ask questions without attitude, without the back talking, without the cussing, and without the yelling and all that. They reason with the child instead of demanding obedience. The parents do not demand anything; they just have expectations, and they expect you to live up to the expectation. The parents earn their respect from the children. The children will learn to earn respect. This is why I'm saying tough love. It's not just really tough or authoritative. It's like, okay, you go outside and do chores for your parents because you love them, and sometimes involuntary just to make your parents feel good at home so they won't nag you to death when you get home. Now, tough love and how it contributes to authoritative parenting, I will speak from my experience first, just because this is my argument. Over the years, I mean, I know we've all been acted out as kids, acted bad in front of our parents, but there's no, it's, but the parent has to have some type of limit to where they have to limit you. It's not, it's like, cause if you go around doing anything you do, you might hurt your parents or something. They can't do anything. And the legal history of that shows, which I will not demonstrate, but tell you about in a later slide. So how it contributes, parental guidance and control is a must, especially now you have kids. We're all adults here, pulling out pornography, uh, listening to music they shouldn't be listening to. I'm a victim of that. I used to sneak around and listen to some of my older sister's CDs when I was young, but I would never cuss because I didn't want to disappoint my parents. And disappointment is probably more worse than anger, because it's like they're saddened. Because I feel like when the parents are disappointed in their child, it's almost like they're sad and they feel like they've messed up themselves, and it feels like there's something about this. I've seen it cause depression in parents before, especially mine, because I used to have a past, and I don't want to do that. My lovely mom is recording right now. Spanking is in effect. However, spanking is not used just for the heck of it. It is used when it is absolutely importantly necessary. And that means when the child is behaving below expectations, when you know right from wrong. And sometimes parents will give you like, chances, or sometimes say sticks. But my parents always said you get 3 licks. And the 3 licks are like chances. So like 1 lick if you do bad, 2 licks if you do something really bad, and then it's 3 licks automatically if you do something very terrible. Say if you like throwing chairs, a temper tantrum inside the classroom. No, you don't do that. But they set limits on behavior, just like I said. And studies have shown that kids who have been subjected and experienced this parenting have benefited. And when I mean benefited, tough love from parents have made leaders. You know, see movie stars, celebrities, even what's his name? Bill Gates even said that his parents did tough love to him. And look at him. He's one of the richest, probably the richest man in the country today. Social media and this generation is falling, and the culture that is being pushed is not good at all. This is where parental control and guidance comes in. But you don't see that now because a lot of parents give up on the kids and they're strung out on drugs. They're either getting drunk all the time, even some of the older parents. And it's really bad because it's just like it's being forced down our throats by media and the TV, and the news. It's lost most of their respect for generation. Because I remember when I come, if you disrespected even your grandparents or your aunties, they had the right to slap you in the face. Or even whoop you, take you behind the house and get a switch. They make you go get the switch. You got the small ones, those even hurt worse in my opinion. Social media is probably the worst thing for our kids in this generation because everybody is so glued on their phone. We're in the age of information to where information that should not be grasped by our kids today, our children today, and it's making them have low standards. They don't want to work. They don't know blue collar from white collar ethic. They don't want to do physical uh, labor. They don't want to do any kind of labor. They don't even want to work from their computer. And it's just like most of them just want to get high and chill with their friends, and that's it. But that is the generation we are living in. That's the culture we are living in right now. Social media also teaches our kids not to listen to our parents, and I don't know your parent. I don't know why they teach that, because your parents are supposed to be the one to guide you. The government needs to be stopped at some point with this, or we need to take it to court and have petitions done as to why we need the tougher love parenting, the authoritative, firm parenting that we need in this country. It needs to be filtered, because most of all of our bad influence and most of our leaders today, the younger leaders of the generation today, are not leaders. They are in fact followers, and it shows, because even in the music industry, the older musicians that paved the way for the music that they do today, they don't even respect their elders. So I mean, it's in our face. And what needs to be filtered is our music, media, TV, internet, etc., etc. The legal history is not good, because back then it used to not be a big thing if you spanked your child or whooped your child or gave them that disturbing look, that disturbing stern look, or you jerk them up beside the arm and tell them they need to stop in a very stern voice. Now you see that child services, the government has cracked down on everything that parents do. And your parent can't even discipline the kid, and the kid's sitting there yelling in the store for no reason because he wants some candy. He's not supposed to be having candy because it makes him too hyper. And then when he gets too hyper, he starts disrespecting his parents. And then he keeps bouncing off the walls. That is not good. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to talk back in the stern voice, like I just said. You're not allowed to spank. And example of that is Adrian Peterson, the NFL player. Recently, well, it's not really recent. It's probably about 5 years ago, in 2014. He was charged with abuse for simply just spanking and disciplining his child because the child was acting foolish in public. That, to me, that needs to be stopped. Like, for real, it needs to be stopped. Like, I understand where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, it's your parents. They're not trying to hurt you. Now, yes, there have been cases and evidence showing that parents do sometimes abuse their authority, but most of the time, those are the parents that are on the drugs and that are drinking too much. Now, rebuttals about my argument are a little silly to me, but I understand where they're coming from. Many people believe if you discipline the child too much, starting at an early age, it can cause mental health issues and problems, such as social problems at early age, alcoholism at the age earliest at 16 if they started from when they were started from like 5 years old or so. Antisocialism, fear of the parents and any other family members that are older than them, rebellion, and etc. People, even psychologists, believe that these symptoms and mental issues start as early as age 16 and maybe even earlier. People believe that we shouldn't limit our kids because the world is changing and we're not in that time. That is silly to me, but I understand where they're coming from. In conclusion, I personally would like for people to study this issue because it is a touchy topic, because you're talking about people's parenting and how they should raise their kids. Now, I understand that. I would love for everybody to look at how our culture is and look at how it was back then. Yes, there might have been discrimination more, and yes, there might have been people that act too tough, but our generation is getting softer in my eyes, and too bold, if that makes any sense. Look at how our children treat our parents and treat our elders now. It is not good. You're supposed to respect your elders and the ones that came before you. I wanted to bring light to this issue because I have seen too much disrespect of higher authority, especially towards parents and grandparents. Like I say, you're supposed to respect your parents, even if they are in the wrong. But if they are in the wrong too much, yes, you have a right to let them know. But other than that, they love you and they want you to be the best person you can be in this world and in your life. And lastly, I would like you to look at the social media and filter and I would like parents to look at the social media and just look at it, and then tell me you don't need to filter and monitor what is going on in our communities and in our culture. And that is my presentation. I would love for everybody to research all these issues we have. And then one more thing I would like to address. I do not condone hurting the children for no reason. Being neglectful towards the children, and neither do I condone unnecessary punishment towards children. We just need to look and analyze what we're doing and what these children are feeding into themselves this day and time. Thank you.